chat box. And then, so what you can do is you can actually chat in that, and then hopefully we get through this and we don't have any technical difficulties. But of course, this is our first one, so we probably will. And we're going to wait just a couple minutes, and then we'll, hopefully get everybody else on. So feel free to share your webcam. So we want this morning coffee break to also be not only just fun and educational, but we also want it to be interactive. So feel free to, share your webcam, and that way everyone can see each other. And if you don't want to, that's also fine too. So we're going to wait just a couple minutes, and I'll kind of explain what the morning coffee breaks are, what they're about, what are some of the upcoming topics, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, we will go ahead and get started. So hopefully you guys can hear me, and hopefully everybody can open up your webcam if you would like to, or just make sure that you utilize the chat box if you ever have a question or you have something that you would like to share. So the morning coffee breaks are they're going to be fun, they're going to be interactive, but they're also trying to connect us whenever we kind of feel like it's a time where we're not always connected. Because maybe we haven't seen everybody at work, we haven't seen everybody even at school, or we haven't seen everybody even at around town, or even just within our family in general. So my name is Rush, and I would like to thank all of you all for. I would like to thank all of you. I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. And so today I will actually be leading the discussion, and today we're going to talk about boredom. And then throughout this whole series of June, I'm actually going to get some guest speakers on. So some are going to come and talk about stress, and talk about balance, and talk about joy, and then also talk about peace. And these topics are kind of hard to tackle in 30 minutes, but what I want to do today is I want to just tell you guys a story. So a couple of different things, though. First, about the morning coffee breaks is that this will actually be streamed on the Muskogee Media's YouTube page. So we're very excited to have them involved. And then also, too, we just want this to be a time where you can come and you can share, and you can also have a platform to come and to speak about things and ask questions, and just, kind of be a part of this as well. I just don't want to present just to you. So I want to start off by telling you all a story. So most of us have all heard about the case study about the rat, and how the rat has two different options. The rat has an option to choose water, or he has the option to choose water with heroin or cocaine actually laced into it. All right, so we've all heard that story done early in the 1900s, and that's typically what we think of whenever we think about addiction. So in that study, 100% of all the rats actually did overdose after they, kept going back to the water bottle with the heroin and cocaine, and everyone thought, okay, so obviously they're going to choose drugs over the water, and that's how addiction is, and that's how it starts, and that's how powerful it is. Well, in the 1970s, Professor Alexander actually came along, and he saw that study, and he thought to himself, well, you only had two options, but what if we actually give them activities, give them the opportunity to be involved in different things? And Tyler, do you have a question? Okay, I guess Tyler does not have a question. So, but basically, what Professor Alexander did was he actually wanted to go ahead and put in other activities for the rats and see what the outcome was. So, what he did was he was able to actually build them like a park. He actually, hold on, sorry, technical difficulties. Can everybody hear me okay or no? If you can hear me, please put it in the chat. And like I said, hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties, but we probably will. Okay, I hear a yes. See another yes. Yes. Okay. All right. We'll continue on. I apologize about that. All right. So, long story short, what Professor Alexander did was he actually created like a rat theme park. So, he not only he gave them the water of just plain water and then the water laced with drugs, but he actually put in different types of wheels that they can run on. He actually put in more friends. He even put in, cheese and food and tunnels so they can run. And whenever he created all of these things inside of the rat park, 0% of the rats actually overdosed on these drugs. So what he kind of came up with the conclusion was that addiction wasn't just boredom and it wasn't just two different types of choices, but it was actually about having bonds and connections and activities that fulfill their mind and fulfill their time and also their energy and just almost basically fulfill their hearts. So I think that's how we can also kind of look at different types of what we do as far as prevention. So it shows us that bonds and connections are actually the center of prevention. And that is why all of these activities that you do with your family and all of your coworkers and all the people that you just interact with on a daily basis are so important. So I know that we all have challenges in our community. We all see a park here and there that are grown up, and even in my hometown, just south of Altmoggy, we don't always have the most resourceful things. We don't have the gathering place, in my town, and we don't have these things. However, though, I do believe what we do have is the chance to still connect with our family. We still have the chance to sit down and eat with our family on a Sunday night or even every night for dinner. We still have the chance to break out an old board game. We have the chance to go up to your local track or even just your local neighborhood. And let's say that you can't walk in your neighborhood, see if you can just drive to another part of the town or part of the neighborhoods, or even see if you can find a local park. But trying to stay connected and trying to stay active is how I know that it really helps me as far as just keeping me healthy, keeping me safe, and just kind of keeping me, away from different things. So instead of, looking at boredom as far as no options, kind of look at this chance to have this chance to grow, have this chance to find different hobbies that you and your family might be actually interested in. And so that's why I would like to ask you guys now, what are some of the ways that you guys have stayed connecting during this, COVID-19 and everything like that? I know it's kind of difficult, but how have you stayed connected with yourself and your family and your friends? And if you have an answer, please feel free to share your webcam or even just write it into the chat. All right. Looks like you guys are a little shy today. Looks like you guys maybe you haven't gotten your morning coffee in yet. So a couple different things that I've written down is just try to walk in neighborhoods. Try to find somewhere to go to get outside to get some sunlight. Try to make make sure that you're actually taking care of yourself. And then also just try to include family time, whatever that looks like to you. Whether the family time looks like dinner every evening, or maybe it's even playing board games on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, or maybe it's even just going out to the backyard and just hanging out by your little blow up pool. I know that's what we do, and we just kind of jump on the trampoline and we just kind of hang out and you look at the clouds. And I know a lot of these things seem pretty simple and they seem almost at times not very exciting, but at the same time, it's about being with your family and about talking with them, about trying to stay connected. Because at times, what we find is that we have all of these opportunities to stay connected, yet we still don't talk with each other. So you got to make sure that you're trying to find ways that you can stay connected, no matter what kind of day it is, no matter what kind of weather it is, and all those things. So Vanessa shared with us that she walks the dogs as a family. So not only is one that's healthy for themselves, but it's also healthy for your animals too. So your animals and yourself also feed off of each other, and I'm sure that every pet owner knows that about how you can kind of make each other feel better. Anybody else have any other type of things that they do to stay connected? Family bike rides. So family bike rides is also another one. And from what it seems, a lot of these activities are physical activities. So I know for myself, I do like to stay physically active, not only one for my health, but number two is that getting physical activity is so important to our brain. So our brain can release these endorphins and dopamines whenever we actually are getting out there and staying physically active. And staying physically active doesn't have to mean lifting weights at the gym. It can simply mean, just getting out there for a walk, or even just trying to do some sort of gardening around your house, even some yard work. I know everybody has to probably do quite a bit of yard work right now with how much it's been raining. So a couple other things that people have shared is playing cornhole and horseshoes. So unfortunately, our festival was postponed, and I know that the horseshoes was always one of my favorite activities to go and watch and to see. And some of those guys are really good, and some of the ladies are really good. So Thomasine shared with us that she's actually connected with her out-of-state family more than usual. So I know at times whenever you're racing off to baseball games and you're racing off to softball practice and basketball practice, it can be kind of hard to, stay connected with our friends and our family that aren't living inside of our town. So that's something that she is taking the time to do, is to contact all of those relatives that have been, maybe just not talked to quite as much. It also looks like she started walking more, and she's noticed that her neighbors have actually been riding bikes every morning and every evening. So the next question I'd like to ask you is, how have you grown during this time of social distancing? So I know for me, I've actually had the opportunity to follow up at doctor's appointments. I've had the opportunity to try to eat better, to try to cook more, and also just try to not eat as much junk food or anything, even at the office in general. So I try to bring healthy snacks, and I'm just trying to better myself as far as that. And I'm trying to do everything that I can control. So as you all know, we can't control every situation. We can't control everything that's going on, but we can try to control what we eat, what we consume, how much time that we spend on TV, how much time that we spend on our cell phone, how much time that we spend on different social media outlets. And that's something that I think that we can all continue to do, is to choose where we're investing our time. So what we invest our time in is what we're going to be good at. So another activity that I see is gardening. So if Rena wants to elaborate on what she likes to do in her garden, that would be great. We actually have a tomato plant, and we actually don't have a large garden or anything like that, but we just went and planted it somewhere in our yard, and hopefully we're going to do it right, and if not, it'll be a learning experience. So we went to Walmart and we got a cage, and hopefully we actually start growing tomatoes. But I know that my daughter actually loves doing that as well. So every morning she gets up and she has to go and water the plants, even if it's been raining all night. Another thing that she likes to do is she likes to get a loaf of bread and go outside and she wants to feed the birds. I don't know if it even works, but I'm not going to tell her that's not going to work. And she likes to go out there and throw out some bread in the yard and then watch them fly in throughout the day. And then it looks like home improvement, and then also teaching the kids how to do these things. So sometimes too, I think we can forget that everybody doesn't know something. So try to take this chance to show your kids how to change a tire, how to properly wash a car, how to even vacuum out the car, and just even doing things around the house, things that maybe we haven't had the time to invest and show them, but we can try to show them that way they can show it to their kids as they get older. So Vanessa also looks like she has chickens. So chickens are pretty fun. I have a sister-in-law who has a whole bunch of chickens, and they actually built a brand new planter, and it's pretty interesting. So back to my original question, have any of you guys grown during this time? So I know another thing too is I've actually had to learn how to cut some hair. So my brothers and I, we didn't have a haircut for, coming up 8 or 9 weeks. And so that was kind of an interesting hobby. It's kind of a scary hobby as well. But has there been anything else that you guys have done where you have grown during this time? Cooking. So what kind of things have you been cooking, Carissa? I know for me, I'm not a great cook, and luckily I always had parents and relatives that always cooked really, really awesome food growing up. But on the backside of that too, um, it didn't really always show me how to cook it. It was cooking. So I know that what I've been trying to cook is I've been trying to cook eggs and I've been trying to cook chicken. I've even been trying to cook asparagus and all these different types of things. So it looks like Carissa, her first time making biscuits from scratch, and also probably gravy from scratch as well. So that looks like a pretty awesome thing. And I'm probably not to that level yet, but maybe one day I'll be there, Carissa. Has anybody else grown during this time through different things? The one thing that you guys should know about me is that I am pretty comfortable with silence. I'm a pretty quiet person. But yeah, so, okay, well, it looks like we have Thomasine. So she's actually tried to tap into her more creative side. So it looks like she has actually started a weekly family art night. So it looks like they're, on that night, they're either painting or they're doing paper crafts or they're even building with popsicle sticks. And it looks like her son has started doing more cultural activities such as basket weaving and yarn weaving, stomp dance, shell making. And this is pretty cool because Thomasine is actually probably going to present to us over one of the topics in a few weeks. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. And then maybe she can even take one of these activities and maybe she can even, show some of her work that her and her family has done and bring it here with her. Has anybody else gone into anything or grown in any other way throughout this time of social distancing? All right, so it looks like Carissa has also learned how to make masks. So that's pretty important, right? And there's been a lot of good avenues, and there's been a lot of good people who have given out masks and also just giving out food and giving out different things. I know something that we did here at Creek Nation Behavioral Health was we actually tried to give out family care packages, And basically, in those care packages, we just had things ranging from stress balls to other therapeutic little activities such as fidget cubes and putty. And then we also included some activity sheets and coloring sheets for all the little ones. And then we also tried to incorporate some of the resources just in case if anybody needed it. And that's something that we tried to do in a safe manner. And we all wore masks and we all gave those out. And we actually have a few more probably that we are going to do. We started in the rural communities and we had quite a bit of people show up throughout those. And some of our future ones are actually going to be more in the northern area of our jurisdiction. So we're excited to get up there. And we didn't want to leave anybody out, but we definitely wanted to go see some of our rural communities. And we love going out to the rural communities and being a presence in them. So any other questions or any other comments or any other things that you have done during this time to grow, or you just found opportunities and different things. So if you have anything else, please put it in the chat. Hey, Thomasine.
Hey, sorry. I couldn't hear you on my computer. Neither could Jamie. So we're here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hopefully all the other ones could. So I guess my question to you three, since you all are there, is what's been one way that you guys have grown during this time? I know Thomasine has already talked a lot about how she's incorporated family art night and family craft night and those type of things. So what have you guys done during this time?
I think for me, it's allowed me to try to slow down a little bit more and try to focus on making sure that I'm having that connection with my family a lot more. There's still room for growth in that department, at least on my end, but that's something that I try to incorporate is just really building that relationship more with my daughter. So one of our activities that we find joy in is building Lego. So we will spend a couple hours building a Lego model, and then we get to display it in our living room, and it's really cool and something we can look at. So that's one of the things we've done.
Yeah, and to kind of reiterate what Tyler said, same thing, like we were always on the go, running, busy every single night, starting to get back to that now. But during that time of quarantine, we kind of just focused on our families and tried to spend more time with our kids. We did a lot of activities outside. We built a fire pit so we could just kind of relax around the fire. So it helped us kind of reset ourselves, get prepared for the summer.
And that's awesome. And one more question to you three, since you're here on the video chat. What are some opportunities that you guys have found in your hometown or even around your house in ways that you can try to stay not bored?
Well, in our town, we haven't really had much. Our walking trail and all that stuff was closed for a long time. But fortunately for myself, I live in the country. And so I stay busy doing things outside with our animals. We have cows, pigs, chickens. And so we would go on walks and we ride four-wheelers and do that kind of stuff around our house.
Hey, Rush, I mentioned that I started walking more, and I live in the country as well. So me and my boys, we started picking up the trash that was around. So trying to make it beautiful, even pulling out weeds that we had. Also, I like to ask my boys questions while we're walking. We would try to describe things. So, I'm a teacher at heart. And so I would have them use different adjectives. We couldn't use the same adjective. And so just try to make fun games like that as well.
And if you work with me and you follow me on Snapchat, you know that I am currently remodeling my bathroom. So I haven't been bored. I've been the opposite of bored. So I've been taking 20-year-old plumbing and 20-year-old, flooring and things like that, and toilets, and changing all that out in my house. So I haven't had time to be bored. So that's what I've been doing.
I want to add one more thing. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and so her goal is to cook a new recipe at least once a week. So that's been pretty cool to get to try. So she's learning how to cook and read recipes and do all that stuff, but then also try new things that we normally wouldn't.
And that's awesome. And all of those activities are great. And I like how all the activities are actually a little bit different than each other. So none of them are the exact same type of activity. However, you guys have all found ways to kind of manage some of this time, manage some of that stress. And so it looks like Annie on the chat she's also read more. So it looks like she has read 3 books. And that is another way that we can try to definitely educate ourselves and then try to, spend that time connecting not only in some sort of book, but also within, just our thinking and our positive creativity. So it looks like we are approaching 9:30, but do you guys have any questions or any other comments about some of the things we talked about or some of the activities or anything or any last minute thing that you would like to share? So next week, before we start our presentation, I expect everybody to make sure that you guys get your coffee in and, keep those fingers rolling on that chat box. And then also to, I would encourage you to definitely hop on the webcam next week if you feel comfortable with that. And next week, we're going to talk about stress. And we're going to try to talk about some of the different things and how we can try to manage that. Looks like you guys might have something, Tyler.
I was just going to say we're really excited for this series, and hopefully we can figure out some of the technical difficulties that we experienced this morning, at least on our end. So I feel like I missed like a good portion of the coffee break, but I was drinking my coffee as I was trying to troubleshoot my technical issues, and it's kind of a nice segue into next week's topic because I was getting pretty stressed about my technical difficulties. So next week, hopefully we don't have any of those issues, but I can definitely talk about stress for sure.
Yeah, I think we all can. So it looks like media said thank you so much, and thank you so much for Muskogee Media always being a part of our activities and always just showing up and supporting us as well. And they were actually able to come out to our Almagi community the other day whenever we were giving out our behavioral health care packages. So hopefully next week we will get everything even smoother, and we'll definitely try to always come prepared, and we will also try to do everything that we can in our power to try to help everybody who joins in on this call or anything else. If you have any questions or any comments, or you just maybe even need some resources, please reach out to us. Our phone number is 918-758-1910, and I will actually put it in the chat. And basically, we just want to make sure that we are equipping everybody with anything that they might need as far as any mental health care or substance abuse care. So if you have any questions or anything of that nature, feel free to contact us. And my name is Rush. And I probably didn't even properly introduce myself. I typically usually forget, but my name is Rush Williams, and I'm the project director for the 2 MSBI grants. And we just want to thank you all so much for joining us, and we hope that you can get back on with us next week. And it looks like Thomasine actually added my email to the chat box. So that is my email. Thank you, Thomasine, and thank you everyone for joining on. So hope to see you next week. And next week we will be talking about stress. So make sure bring your questions, bring your coffee, and we'll see you next time.